Hello, this is Sierra, and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another video inside of my short stories of the Clockwork Chronicles. We are doing another mini novel. Well, we're doing the same mini novel that we've been reading through, called The Hero of Wonderberg. We are on part 2, which is Rescue. Obviously, from the title, we are in the second part of that. We're doing the second section. Nope, that's the second part. You know, it makes sense. It makes sense. Oh, come on, don't do that, please. Great. If you haven't read any of the other parts yet, be sure you do it. You don't want to miss. You don't want to miss out. Squishy and Sam were walking down the path, having arrived at the town of Wonderberg, right in front of the Wonder Gem. The duckling wasn't too focused on the fact that she could now see it. Since the first time she'd visited the town, the whole place had gone back in time, right back into the Stone Age. Hopefully the video volume's working. Her eyes were focused on what was ahead as she followed Barnaby down the path, the boy not too far behind her. He knew the dog was trying his best to locate his master, even though a part of her wanted to go to Keen's house and ask for help. Still, knowing where Stampy was and what those men were doing to him seemed just as important to her at that moment. As they walked, she noticed the dog was heading straight for one of the homes, which wasn't too far from the Wonder Gem. The building didn't seem to stand out in the slightest, nor did it look out of place in the passed-out colors of the town. It looked just as charming and detailed as the other homes in the area. Yet, Barnaby was leading them right to the house. Curiosity and embezzlement filled her as she wondered why the men would want to be so close to an object that was treasure for so many people. Wouldn't it have caused suspicion? She wasn't even sure herself as she noted the dog lead them towards a large window that opened up to a medium-sized room. Artistic liberties. She stumbled back aghast as she took in the scene before him. There were about 2 men in Mr. A's uniform in the room, one of them standing guard by the door, while the other was looming over someone who was bound to a chair. It was Stampy. She could see he wasn't badly injured physically, which relieved her, but the unease of seeing him so helpless and alone with those men weren't helping matters. The cat was looking down at his feet, away from the man who was speaking to him, but his voice was muffled through the window. "I suggest we do, Squishy," said Master calmly, causing her to jolt back to reality as the worry and anxiety within her threatened to explode. Part of her wanted to go in there and get her friend out of there, but she knew that she couldn't risk that. She didn't know if more men would come soon. Even though she could see 2 of them, there could be more. Certainly Mr. A would be arriving soon as well, and the last thing she wanted was for the men to outsmart them and ruin their lives forever. She didn't want any of her friends to get hurt. Certainly not Stampy. "I don't know," she admitted quietly, trying to push back tears, wondering what the man in the room was saying to her friend. He could be trying to beat him down, destroy him from the inside, shatter all his hopes of rescue, like they tried to do with her. They'd done it to her friend before. She knew it hurt him to remember that. She had to do something, but she didn't know what to do. I don't think going in there to help him will help matters, though. No matter how hard it is for me to say that. The boy nodded, put a hand on her shoulder. "You said you knew someone here who could help?" "Yeah, Wither Keen lives somewhere around here, but I don't really know where, though. I don't have the time to look for him, right?" she asked, her mind racing with thoughts and with questions as she said it. Her conversation was interrupted by a sharp growl from behind her, and she turned to see Barnaby wagging his tail swiftly. "I have a feeling he knows the way." The boy made a small smile. She sighed and nodded. "Yeah, he's been here before as well. Then we should have a chance," the boy reassured her. She nodded as she took a deep breath, knowing full well the boy was right. There was still a chance they could do this. A chance they could help Stampy. "I just don't want to leave him there, alone with those awful men," she admitted. "Neither do I, but we do need help, especially if there are more of them out there." Right, she replied as she looked over at the dog. Would you mind taking a sticking by me? The dog barked firmly, and the duckling could almost swear that she saw the dog give them a short nod before trotting off back towards the window gem, perhaps to go around it and head towards the king's home. Hopefully, it wouldn't be too far. However, before the duckling could round the corner, she was pulled back from behind one of the big oak trees by surprise as she stifled down a gasp as she turned to see the boy beside her. There's someone over there, the boy said quietly as he pointed around the corner. The dog was right behind them, his ears pulled back in a not-so-friendly way. Something wasn't right, and the dog knew it. She peered around the corner quietly. She swallowed, seeing that there were a half-dozen men standing in front of the gem, 5 of them wearing Mr. A's uniform, surrounding a tall man she recognized very well. The man was looking up at the window gem, an expression of intrigue and eagerness. So, do we take it now? Well, the man asked sharply. The man shook his head. Someone will notice if we try to take it now. No, we need to wait until the right time. Besides, I need a word with our feline friend first. Yes, sir, the guard replied with a nod, as a shiver ran through her. They were going after the Wonder Gem. Why? What could Mr. A possibly want with this treasure? The thing that was keeping people wondering and coming up with brilliant new ideas. We should probably go, the boy whispered to her quietly, before they see us. Right, she said with a nod, as they slipped around behind the Wonder Gem, following the dog as Barnaby sniffed around, keeping a wary eye on the men who were heading towards the house where the cat had been imprisoned. They didn't have much time. She knew that. She just hoped they'd be able to get to Keen's house fast enough to tell him what was going on. Stop those men before something horrible happened. She looked over her shoulder one last time sadly, spotting the Wonder Gem spinning around consistently, hoping they could do something. Stampy needed them. Wonderberg needed them. An unknown threat was looming over the town. They had to put a stop to it. They couldn't. Who else would? She didn't know, nor did she want to know the answer to that question. Yep, let's move on. Stampy. I can say it in many very different ways. Stampy felt uncomfortable, sitting on the hard wooden chair. His arms bound behind the chair by a scratchy, itchy rope. Even the men watching him constantly, not wavering their eyes off him for a moment, made him feel uneasy. Nothing about this was any bit comfortable. All he wanted to do was to be far away from these men, to be safe and happy in his world, but no, that wouldn't happen. Not when he knew that Wonderberg was at risk. His whole sighed, he shook his head sadly. It was his fault these men were here. He had to deal with that, to stop them if he could. Every time he tried, these men outsmarted him, brought him to his knees, and tried to hurt him through words, actions, and threats. Were Squishy and William okay? Had they escaped? Where was Sam in all of this? Did he know what was going on? Could his friend even do anything about the situation at hand? She'd know. Nothing about this cell, right? Do you think Mr. A will be here soon? One of the men asked the other, purposefully ignoring the cat as his eyes shifted towards the window. He better be, or he'll be missing out on some drama. The second man mused with a chuckle. Then he added with a smirk, oh, he'll be here, all right. He won't miss the humiliation of this little pest as we ruin his reputation and prove to people he's really like inside. What are you going on about? The cat demanded as he looked up at the men, his green eyes sparkling slightly with determination. These men knew very well what they were doing, and he didn't want them to think they were winning, that they were getting to him. He was stronger than this. Oh, you two are pretty much the same, really, the man said with a shrug, then added with a cold sneer. Sheer liars, cheats, traitors, selfish little things. The world's much better off without people like you. Cat shook his head. You know it won't work. Do I really know that? Mr. A seems to think otherwise, the man said casually. Well, he's wrong, the cat said firmly. Would you like to say that again, to my face? A familiar voice asked, sending a shiver through the cat's spine as he looked up to see Mr. A walking towards him, an amused smile on his face. It's a pleasure to see you again, Stampy Cat. What do you want with me? What could you possibly want with Wonderberg? The cat demanded as the man stepped closer, looming over him. The cat wasn't sure if he should feel intimidated or frightened by this man. Mr. A caused him so much pain and suffering within a span of a year, gave him questions that hurt him, cutting deep, because of this man. One of his best friends was dead. Because of this man, the town of Wonderberg was in danger. It was all his fault, and the man certainly wouldn't let him forget that. Now, are that the right questions to ask? The man mused as he shook his head. However, for you, I have a few questions myself before giving you my nice, sweet little answers to yours. Stampy shook his head as he looked away from the man, feeling helpless as he looked out the window, just about seeing the wonder gems spinning gracefully in place. Everything appeared as it was supposed to be, except he knew it wasn't the case. He knew very well something very bad was about to happen. He had little to no control for any of it. Look at me when I'm talking to you, cat, the man said coldly. Cat reluctantly looked back at the man's cold, dark eyes. The man looked paler in this angle. Then the cat remembered. His features defined an expression that demanded obedience. He had no choice but to do what this man asked. If you want me to spill the secrets, I won't do it, the cat said finally. And why not? The man asked as he raised an eyebrow. I made a promise to do whatever it took to protect Wondering, the cat said defiantly. I don't plan to break it. Haven't you already, though, Stampy Cat? The man asked as he leaned close to him. You showed my men where your portal was. You led us straight to your little secret. If anything, you've proven just how much of a coward you are. I had no choice, the cat insisted. They were threatening my friends. So your friends are more important than this world, the man asked. I never said that, the cat said dazedly. Besides, it's not too late yet for my friends to stop you. And where are they? As far as I'm aware, you and I are the only ones here. The only ones who even know what's going on, the man said smoothly. The cat shook his head. I don't tell my friends. Is there a reason for that? The man asked slowly. Something you're not telling me. Telling us? The cat glared at the man. Complete defiance in the tone of the voice. Yes, there is. I appreciate the honesty. The man mused with a smile as the other two men chuckled in amusement. Mind telling us then? One of the men demanded. You did before with the portal, and tried to do with falling from the sky thing. Took one interjection. Stampy shook his head and smiled. I won't tell you. And why not? The man sneered. The cat shook his head and looked away from Mr. A towards the man. I have a right to keep my secrets. You know we can torture it out of you, right? The sick man asked as he pulled out an iron dagger, sending a cold shiver down the cat's spine. There's no need for that. I'm sure whatever he's hiding from us will stand no chance against us, Mr. A said as he lifted a hand, gesturing to the man to put away the blade. The man reluctantly did so, as he was told. The cat's gaze returned up to the man. Now, why don't I answer your questions then? Seems fair to me. Why would I know if you were telling the truth? The cat demanded. Because there's nothing you could do to stop me, Stampy Cat, the man sneered. You may be considered a hero in this world, but to me, you're nothing but another YouTuber in my way. If I can destroy what you hold dear, perhaps you'll understand me far better. I already do, the cat said quietly. You tortured me with a shotgun. You nearly killed me by burning me. You tried to kill me time and time again, trying to use my own sword against me. I shook his head slowly as he smiled. Stampy Cat, those are nothing in comparison of what I'm about to do. This case is much more permanent. How do you mean? The cat asked, hitting how uneasy he felt, hearing his voice shake slightly as he shuddered. The man's gaze never left him, as his dread filled the cat. You're assuming I'm gonna take your precious Wonder Gem and destroy it, aren't you? The man said with a slight smile. Wouldn't work, even if you were, the cat said timidly. Ah, but why would I destroy something that's so special to people here? The man said with a chuckle. To prove a point? No, Stampy. I don't need to prove a point to them. I need to prove a point to you. The cat swallowed as he replied. I'm not sure I understand. Listen to me very carefully then, cat. The man said smoothly. Why would I destroy something that can easily manipulate it, changing it completely? Stampy's eyes widened. You're not saying... Yes, Stampy, I am saying what you think I'm saying, the man said with a cold smile. I don't need to destroy something to make a point. Not when it can turn everyone against you, even your supposed friends. I would see it any other way. It won't work, the cat demanded, his eyes blazing with courage he didn't realize he had. How do you know that? The man asked when he pulled something out of his pocket. It seemed to be a small thin box with a red light blinking slowly. There was something to be unnatural rhythm to it, almost like a heartbeat. I have the technology to do it. What is that thing? The cat asked the man, looking up at him, feeling even more dread fill him. Could this actually work? Could something like the Wonder Gem be hacked or manipulated so easily? He didn't know. He wished someone was there to assure him that it wouldn't, like Priscilla or even Keen himself, but he had no one to tell him. Otherwise, no one would dare to tell him that something like this just wasn't possible. It's my ticket to making your precious Wonder Gem do what I wish. To make people think the way I need them to, and potentially destroy any foundation you were on, or friends you trusted in, depended on to protect you. You already have most of the cause against you. How about your dear friends next? No, the cat said, shaking his head. His tears formed in his eyes. You can't do that. You don't know what the consequences might be. Oh, I do know. The man sneered. I'll make sure of it myself. The cat watched as the mystery turned as he walked out of the room, one of the men following him shortly behind. The cat couldn't hold back the emotions that he was feeling any longer, as the tears finally began to fall. It hurt to know the men might be able to stop, that he might not be able to stop this, that his friends might fail to help him. Where were they now? Wouldn't they have tried to help him by now? What if Keen and Priscilla? Did they have any clue of what might be going on within the very walls of down they all swore to protect? Did they even have a chance anymore? I wasn't sure. Cat let out a long, emotional distraught sigh as he shook away, unable to wipe away his tears. Shook his head, unable to wipe away the tears, unable to hide his face from the enemy, knowing one of Mr. A's men could see that he was crying. But he said nothing. He did nothing. Just like the cat could do nothing to stop these men. Mr. A had told him time. He could feel the little hope he had beginning to dwindle. He struggled to convince himself that there was still a chance for him to stop the men. A chance to save the tower, to ensure that the Wonder Gem couldn't be manipulated or changed. He had to know, but he didn't. And that scared him. That was what scared him most of all. Unfortunately, we're going to have to end that video there. I hope you guys liked it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that might be. Yeah. Goodbye.